Welcome to Lawyers Who Care, the video show podcast that highlights attorneys who go above and beyond for their clients. And on each episode, we will meet a new lawyer and they will share stories of when they went beyond legal counsel for the benefit of their client. My name is Andrew Samalin. I'm the principal of Samalin Wealth, a nationally recognized wealth management firm for lawyers, their firms, and their families. And let's applaud Lawyers Who Care and learn from them. Today, my guest is Adam Garner. He is the founder and managing member of the Garner Firm based in Philadelphia. And Adam has 2 decades of experience as a skilled ERISA, insurance, and employment attorney. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you for having me.
So, Adam, tell us about your firm.
Well, the Garner Firm has been around for about 9 years. We represent individuals, whether they are blue-collar workers, white-collar workers, or senior executives, in all facets of employee benefits litigation. Primarily, we also have a significant insurance practice where we represent individuals who have individual disability insurance policies and claims against their carriers. And we also represent individuals in employment law disputes.
And tell us what brought you to the law itself. Did you grow up wanting to be a lawyer, or was there something that said, hey, this is now my new path?
Well, I wish there was something inspiring in the story, but my parents had really great careers, but they worked in the retail industry. It's a tough way to make a living. And they said, you need to go to school and become a professional. I'm squeamish. I'm good at arguing. And I was good at negotiating with my parents. So the law seemed like a natural fit as opposed to going to medical school or doing something else.
And what were the negotiations you had with your parents that they all of a sudden they said, wow, Adam, you're good at this?
Well, if I wanted a new He-Man action figure, a G.I. Joe, or wanted to go to, some event with my friends, I typically got what I wanted.
And what brought you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
What brought you into the ERISA world? That's more of a I don't want to say esoteric, but it is a very specific niche. What brought you into that area?
It really fell into my lap. I was a young associate at a major international law firm in their labor and employment department. And we got an ERISA case in my office and they said, you're working on it. And so I did, and I enjoyed it and I was good at it. And I was working with both a partner in my office as well as one in another office who was a more of a dedicated ERISA attorney as opposed to an employment lawyer. And he got me involved in a committee with the American Bar Association that's heavily focused on employee benefits law. And I've stuck with it ever since. And really, I found my niche, but it was totally by coincidence.
And so tell us who do your clients end up being? I know at the beginning, you would mention generally who senior executives and, sole proprietors, larger firms. Tell us where I don't want to say your sweet spot is, but tell us, generally if someone knocks on the door, how are you helping them?
Sure. So our clients typically have one of 3 types in the ERISA space. They typically have one of 3 types of claims. Either a disability benefits claim that they got the disability benefits policy through work, and that worker may be anywhere from somebody making $50,000 a year to $1 million a year. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. The consistent thread with those clients are that they have a disability insurance policy that they got through work, and they've had some issue with their claim, whether their benefits are being terminated, whether they are just having a difficult time with the carrier, whatever the case may be. They typically find us there. The other most common types of claims that we have are life insurance claims, which are very much like the disability claims, and then retirement plan litigation. And we do a fair amount of retirement plan litigation for individuals who have either had an issue with their retirement plan benefit, and that's typically people who have a defined benefit pension, where perhaps they think that their pension benefit should be $2,000 a month and it's $1,500 a month. And we are helping them with their claim vis-a-vis the pension fund and getting the correct amount. But we also handle fiduciary breach litigation, where there is an issue, perhaps something more global or systemic with the retirement plan. And those claims are handled sometimes on an individual basis and sometimes as class actions.
Do you find them generally on the defined benefit plan side, or do you find issues on the defined contribution side, or both? Or do you find, what does that look like?
Yeah. So the individual benefit claims tend to be more on the defined benefit side of things, where there's a calculation issue, usually tied to somebody's work history and whether, how many years did they work for the employer to earn credit under the plan. Often there's a mismatch between the employer's records and the payroll records, for example, that the individual has or their memory. And on the fiduciary breach side, that tends to be on defined contribution plans, most commonly with 401k plans, but not exclusively.
What is the fiduciary? What's the root of the fiduciary breaches that you've found? Is it structural plan design? Is it investment offerings? Like, what do you see? I mean, I'm sure you've seen it all, but
Sure.
what does that look like?
Yeah, there's a few different common themes. I mean, as you probably know, Andrew, there's a lot of litigation involving 401k plans and fees being charged by record keepers and things like that, and investment selections. Um, Frankly, I don't do a lot of those cases. The ones that we've had typically involve some sort of misconduct, affirmative misconduct relative to the plan. For example, we handled a profit sharing plan class action where the administrator of the profit sharing plan, who was also the trustee of the plan, invested over 90% of the plan's assets in companies controlled by her husband, which was not prudent. It's a failure to diversify the assets. The investments performed predictably poorly, and the individuals in the plan lost substantial sums of money. We have another putative class action now involving a 401k plan where we allege that the employer had not properly segregated the assets of the plan from its general assets and remitted them to the plan in a timely fashion, which resulted in investment losses to the participants. So those are some of the examples of defined contribution plan litigation. Another thing that we see is with ESOPs, which are employee stock ownership plans. There may be issues with the valuation of the ESOP, both when the initial transaction occurred where the company sold the business, or the owners of the company sold the business to the ESOP, whether the company was overvalued, whether they were aware of potentially materially adverse events that were on the horizon that were not properly disclosed in the valuation, et cetera, but also with the valuation of participant accounts when they go to cash out from the ESOP. So those are examples of the fiduciary breaches and defined contribution claims. We also actually just settled a class action involving a fiduciary breach with group life insurance coverage against Sun Life. I can share that because it's settled and fought all that.
So everyone, just so we know, this is Adam Garner. He's the founder and managing member of the Garner Firm in Philadelphia. Adam, so that folks can get in touch with you, can you provide your contact information?
Sure. Our office number is 215-645-5955. My direct dial is 267-805-6557. You can find us on the web at garnerltd.com. That's Garner, like my last name, LTD, that's limited.com. And if you have an issue with your employee benefits, we're happy to talk to you.
Wonderful. Everyone, this has been the Lawyers Who Care video show podcast that highlights attorneys that go above and beyond. And as you can see, Adam just really fits that bill in the ERISA and insurance area. If you're an attorney or know one that does go above and beyond, feel free to reach out to us, 914-666-6600. Number again, 914-666-6600. And Adam, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.